Hey kids, this is Jason again, just coming at you with a quick Lipo discussion. I've had a couple of friends ask me about soldering Lipo batteries and creating batteries and whatever, and I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit here. I think the internet has kind of terrified people thinking that Lipo batteries are like atomic bombs that are out to kill your wives and eat your children type of thing. And they're not that bad. I mean, I think people have overanalyzed the hobby, completely overanalyzed the hobby. For instance, all the filtering in flight controllers and tuning and blah, 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 blah. It's like, you know what? Charge your frickin' batteries, put your props on, and go fly. Seriously, I mean, tuning out a filter, a gain filter by, 0.1%. Okay, yeah, it might make it better, but at the end of the day, get out there and fly, have fun. I've been in the industrial robotics industry for 22 years. I know all about high tech and dealing with things and tweaking things. And there comes a point when you have a hobby or you have stress. And I think a lot of people bring this to the stress level. And I think part of that is Lipo batteries. For instance, here's a 4S monster truck battery that I made for my wing project. I call it the Fat Boy. It's a 4S 5,000 milliamp. This started out 2 3S batteries, and I took them apart and soldered them up. Easy enough. And then I needed some little 2S batteries, 650 milliamp 2S. I took a couple of 1S batteries apart that I used for my brushed quads and soldered them together. They work great. No problem at all. 4S Lipo that I made. I wish I could remember what the hell I made this out of because it's an absolutely awesome battery. And if I could remember how I made it, I would market it because it's got punch out the ass and just works great. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to wire a Lipo. The same rule applies for any size of Lipo that you want to do. Don't be afraid of them. I have shorted them out. I have accidentally, while I'm soldering them, connected all the terminals. They don't explode. I have puffed them, and they're fine. When you puff and crash and they get dented, then you get little bits of problems sometimes. The biggest thing with Lipos, obviously, don't overcharge them. Don't store them. I mean, use your head. Store them at the appropriate storage level. Don't overcharge them, which I'm not really sure how that even works, how you can overcharge them with today's batteries. Don't puncture them. That is the biggest thing. Okay. When you're cutting them apart with a razor blade, don't stick a knife in it or anything like that. That would be bad. There's all these videos out there that say, never charge your batteries unattended and do this and do that. I'm not really sure how you do that. I don't know about you, but when I charge batteries to go fly, I charge like 5 or 10 of them. I don't sit here and stare at them charging. So I'm not really sure how people do that, how they charge batteries unattended. So I'm going to give you just a quick view of my setup. Pretty basic. And no, I do not have a battery that doesn't look like shit. So here's what my setup looks like. I have a bunch of chargers. There's a stereo charger, side A, side B. And I got parallel charging boards, a 1S charger, another charger, and I've got a couple others. What I do for my unattended charging, right there, that little thing there, check it out. That is a smoke alarm and fire detector. If you go to your local hardware store, you can buy one of those for about $20. They have a 10-year warranty on the battery. They never need recharged. And it's right above my batteries. So when I'm charging, I'm in my garage. So when I'm charging, if anything blows up, the smoke alarm detects it. It's not rocket science. So be smart about it, but don't be afraid of it. Being afraid of something is just usually not knowing about it. So that's what I think about Lipos. I mean, I deal in my world of robotics, what I do for a career, everything from 2 volts to 480 volt 3-phase. I don't get freaked out about a little LiPo battery. If I have a LiPo puff up and it goes to shit, I literally take it outside. I take a screwdriver. I put the screwdriver on top of the battery. I smack it with a hammer, and I let it blow. I wear safety glasses. And then I walk away and leave it on the driveway for an hour, and then I squirt it with water and throw it away. I mean, it's a battery. It's not going to take off and go kill you. So that being said, I'm going to show you how to wire a battery real quick. I'm going to make a little 3S battery just as an example. I don't even need the damn thing. Actually, I left the batteries in the house, so I'll have to go get them. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Basically what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to strip down a battery. This goes for any battery. If you're doing a 4S, a 3S, a 30S, whatever the case may be careful. Don't puncture it when you're cutting it open with a razor blade. It's pretty straightforward. So this is just a 1S 600 milliamp 30C battery. Okay? And all you want to do, slide a razor blade. Watch, this will be the one time I blow the damn thing up. Underneath the plastic and peel it apart. Easy enough, right? Then, a lot of times, these batteries are pretty simple. You can peel the tape right off. Bada bang, bada boom. Pull that out. Now, you want to be careful. You don't want to short it out unnecessarily, obviously. Again, I don't recommend... Ah, crap, this one broke. These are cheap batteries. Might see if we can still solder that. I don't know. These have circuit protection in them, which is really a crap way of doing things. But, you know, whatever. So we might just build a 2S, since I think you'll see this. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. This is actually crimped on. This is a non-conductive shield, and these that go in, these little terminals are non-conductive. That's why they're crimped on. They will not hold solder, okay? Kind of funky how those work. I guess that's good, because if they fold over, they short out, they blow up. These little short circuit detector boards, complete crap. Don't use them. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. I already ripped apart a couple other ones. So what you want to do is desolder them. Pretty straightforward. Boom. All right. And that one still has a little bit of solder on it. It's not hard. Basically, what you want to try to do, obviously, is not short your soldering iron against anything. Now, what you can do, and I do this a lot, I'll actually cut them. There's one. So I don't have a lot here. We're just going to do that. Okay. Then what you want to do to make your life easy, zoom in a little bit more here. Okay. What I would do, how I do these, is I check them with a meter. Okay. Put it on DC current. Stick your leads on. All right. Now, if you have these backwards, obviously you'll get a negative symbol. Like that. So this side's positive over here. So what I do then is I mark the positive side. We're just going to make it 2S here. I mark the positive side with a marker. So there's no question later. Okay. Same principle with this guy. Let's see what we get. And if you just pay attention when you're unsoldering these things, so that one's backwards. So I know this side's positive. Boom. Easy enough. So we're just going to make a 2S battery. The reason I do that, zoom back out. Sorry about that. What I do then is you're going to connect these in series. Parallel, if you parallel charge or parallel wire batteries together, it's pretty straightforward. That just doubles your milliamp hour. So if you take two 5,000 milliamp batteries and put them in parallel, positive to positive, negative to negative, like you jumpstart a car, then you're going to get double the milliamp hour. So you're going to get two 5,000 milliamp batteries will give you 10,000 milliamps, but you still stay at 3S or 4S voltage. If you wire them in series, then your voltage doubles. So if you go positive to negative, negative to positive, so on and so forth, like Christmas tree lights, then you're going to double. So what you do with these is there's my positive, there's my negative. You line them up so they're on the opposite sides. Positive, positive. Okay? Because you're going to go positive, negative to negative. Okay? You can just take a little piece of tape and do this. Or what I do with these little batteries, take a little bit of hot glue. Notice it didn't blow up. And I stick them together. And yes, my hot glue gun is on super high power right now. Whoop-de-doo. Okay? So now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I'm really not even going to use this battery. This is more for demonstration purposes. Bada bing, and that's it for a 2S. So this is going to be the negative side. This is going to be the positive side. Pretty straightforward. Okay. There's my positive side. There's my negative. There's my positive, wired in series. Pretty simple. So now, find the ground of your balance plug. In this case, it's this gray one. So I'm only going to be making a 2S. This is a 3S plug. So I'm just going to cut this off. And I'm going to cut these leads to make them a little bit shorter. I use my thumbnail to strip them off. Very quick, very easy to do. I don't know why people use wire strippers. And then I'm going to tin these up. I don't know if I can do this with camera, but you get the idea. This does not have to be fancy. Okay, done. So if we know our negative side is the gray, wire that to your negative. All right, these two are connected, so that's going to be our negative side. And then just follow in suit. Okay. Your next wire is going to be, in this case, your link, or the one that's joined up. Oops. And like I said, if I was making this battery to be a real battery, I would do better on the soldering. But I'm just using this for demonstration purposes, so I'm half-assing it. And then, this one right here. Oops. Yeah, this is not the best battery to use this on, so I'm going to put a little bit more solder on here. There we go. Done. So your balance lead is done. Now, obviously, you need to put in your plug. Now, normally I would use an XT30 or an XT60 or something like that. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use this cheap-ass Molex. Same thing. Oops. Tin it up. I'll just tin it over here real quick. Okay, boom, boom. Snip it. Easy enough, positive and negative. So here's our positive side. And usually what I do is I hold one of the wires in my fingers so it's not going to get all goofed up. Sorry, the wife just came out in the garage. And then just try to keep an idea of where everything's at. And your negative side, This one's kind of a nasty one. All right, now, something I should mention. That's done. The little cheap-ass 1S batteries I'm doing this with really make this look cheesy. I mean, obviously, their terminals kind of suck. You do a real lipo, it's actually easier. The terminals are better made. They're not as thin, tinfoil. But anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this out. So what I do then is I fold these over, outside, outside. Okay? Just like that. See that? All right. So then I take hot glue. Notice my battery is not blowing up. Now, what you want to be sure of, though, is your hot glue gun tip is metal. So if you're doing a bigger battery, don't cross that metal tip around multiple terminals. Now, for taping these together, I didn't prepare myself here. Let me see if I can find some tape. Sorry about that. I usually use this Scotch shipping tape with the fiberglass stuff. Okay? Not fiberglass, but it's got the lines going through it. Then what I do is I cut it down the middle for these little guys. Doesn't have to be neat, because you're not going to see it anyway, of course. This is just the cap. Okay? What I usually do with the big ones, this is not a big one, but hey, stick some hot glue on it, because it's going to be too heavy for a small one. I'll wrap the tape over it. Better than this. Again, I'm just doing this for example. Okay? And I put hot glue under it first. So that hot glue is basically making a cap, if you will. Then I'll take another piece of tape. And again, this takes a little bit of practice. I'm not doing a very good job because I'm trying to do it with the camera. I'll wrap it around. Pretend that's all the way around. I'll take a razor knife. I'll cut it there. I'll cut it here. I'll cut it here. I'll cut it here. You basically make a Christmas present. Open it like this. Fold it over like that. Fold it, fold it, fold it, fold it. And there you go. 2S battery. What I do suggest you do, just to make sure you haven't been drinking too much, which does kind of happen sometimes, take a battery tester, plug it in. 7.87. 2S. There you go. Again, I usually do a much better job than this, but this is just for demonstration purposes. You don't have to get scary with a 2S or a 3S or a 4S or a 5S. They're all the same thing. When you start getting afraid of something, that's usually when you screw up and it comes and bites you in the ass. Again, just make sure you meter them out. You know where your positive is. You know where your negative is. Negative. And go positive to negative, negative to positive, positive to negative, negative to positive, so on and so forth, no matter how many S you're doing. And then solder them up like that. What I actually recommend to a lot of people that start off with 3S lipos, and you're inevitably going to move on to 4S when you start flying real quads. Take those 3S, cut them apart, make 4Ss. You can buy the balance leads off of Banggood or Amazon or whatever else, and then your XT60K ends that I usually use, or XT30 in the case of a micro. You can buy those as well, and you can make, don't waste those batteries, or don't just let them sit in a drawer because, I don't want to run 3S. It's very simple to do, very easy. The thing you do need to make sure the cell types are the same. Make sure you match the C's and match the milliamps. Okay, so you don't want to be taking 2200 battery and then mixing it with a 2300 milliamp battery and one that's 20, or even two 2200 milliamp batteries. One's 25C, one's 45C, because the 45C cells will burn out fast, or empty out, if you will, when you're flying faster than the other ones. And you'll get lopsided, bloating, popping. It's not going to be pretty. I have done it just to play with it, and it's not the coolest thing in the world. You get a couple flights out of it, but you're going to be it's going to go south of cheese on you pretty quick. So that's basically it. If you have any questions, please let me know about this. I went through it kind of fast, assuming that you know how to do basic soldering and wiring. Don't be afraid of it. It's not going to explode in your face and kill you. You might want to wear safety glasses if you're not really good with a razor blade. You don't want to blow it up. I mean, the moral of the story, take everything with a grain of salt. Okay. Like when I go to balance my batteries after I fly, everybody's, you look on YouTube and they say, well, make sure they're within, 0.5 of a volt of each other because you don't want to parallel balance or storage charge them. That's crap. I'll take a battery that's half charged and one that's not totally dead, but, needing charge. And I'll put them both on the same parallel charger and put them on storage mode, and it stores them just fine. And same thing with charging. I'll take one that's half charged and one that's on balance or storage charge and charge them both on a balanced charger. I've charged 3. They're all different voltages, plus or minus a couple volts. It's fine. Be smart about it. Put a smoke detector above your batteries or stay in the same area as your batteries while they're charging, but you don't have to get all... There's so much information on the internet right now that just terrifies people about LiPo batteries. Oh, they'll explode and they'll do this. No, really, you have to really kind of try to fuck these up. You really do. Don't puncture them. Don't overcharge them. And if you're going to do stuff like I just did, don't do it fully charged. Do it at a storage charge. You'll be fine. Not the end of the world. If your battery is dented really bad and puffed, you might want to throw a spike through it and kill it. Because I have charged those where they've gone, kind of crazy. Use your head. Every battery I own is dented. Just because it's dented doesn't mean it's trash. It's not canned soup that has hibachilism in it. But if it really looks like it's on death's door, shit. Cut the connector off and save it and pitch it. That's what I do. So anyway, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'll be glad to help you out. But don't be afraid of your lipos, and they won't be afraid of you. I'll talk to you later.